There's certain things I can't deceive you about. I can't tell you I'm tall, I'm not black, but one thing that being short has taught me, I can't deceive you about my age. And I think this all started to come into my mind when I was in kindergarten. And I was co-opted by the 6th graders to be the baby in the school play. And I could fit into baby clothes. And I was like, wow, when they laid me up on the table and made me put on baby clothes and lie still, I'm like, I think there's something to this. So a couple of years ago, I was out celebrating my friend's birthday. I think it was like his 36th, 37th birthday, something like that. And afterwards, a bunch of us went out to go dancing. And I went into this bar. People are all dancing. It's crowded. There's this guy up there. He's dancing. It's crowded. He's this really good-looking Indian guy. I'm like, whoa, it's hot. And I go up, and he's like, hey, hey. We start talking. Turns out he's actually from India. I'm like, I've been to India. He's like, really? Where are you from? Delhi. Cool. We're dancing. We're dancing. Find out he's a grad student at Penn. And I'm like, cool. And I'm like, hey, he's like, yeah. So he's like, how old are you? 22. He's like, how old are you? I said, oh, you know, age is a state of mind. He's like, well, what are you, like around 30? I'm like, age is a state of mind. Cool, we're good. And so he's like making the moves. He's being pretty aggressive with me. Meanwhile, I'm actually, I think at the time, 42, so we're 20 years apart. I'm like, But anyhow, I'm like thinking, this is looking good. He's good. I'm like, Bollywood. I'm starting to see possibilities here. Like, oh my God. So he's like, let's get out of here. I'm like, So we come back. Where do you want to go? He's like, let's go to your place. I'm like, okay. We come back to my place, and we're hanging out, and we're talking. I'm like, what do you want to do? Let's go upstairs to your room. I'm like, oh. And I'm still thinking the whole Bollywood thing's going through. I'm like, this guy's so good looking. He's dark. He's handsome. I'm like, I can just keep him like as a Bollywood fantasy. He can just be like my boy toy. I'm going to enjoy this. And so he comes up, we get into the room, we start fooling around, and he's like, you know, I'm a virgin. I'm like, yeah, right. He's like, no, I'm being, and with this accent, I'm very serious. I'm being very serious. I'm a virgin. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. I'm like, yeah, right, let's just drop this then. Okay, hang out, go to sleep. Here you go. Here's a teddy bear. So we get up, and in the morning, he's trying his best, but, you know, it's like not really happening. You know, we try to sort of, we deflower him, though. We go through this, but it's not really easy, but we do it, you know, and I'm just like still thinking this is going to be a great Bollywood fantasy. He can come over at my beck and call and service me, and meanwhile I can date adults. So, so he comes, you know, so I think we get together, and he's like, you know, he texts me a couple of days later, hey, you haven't called me? I'm like, no, you're the man, you call me. You want to see me, you pursue. Haven't you watched Bollywood films? I watch Bollywood films, and I see what happens. There's like dancing and singing, and men chasing women, and all those fabulous bright colored gowns, and everything happening, and a red dot on the forehead. And I'm like, oh. So he comes back to my place, and we start this. I'm like, wow, good, round two. Maybe, you know, he'll like loosen up a little bit, and we can kind of get into this. So he comes up, we're in my room, we're fooling around, and then he breaks down crying. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, what's the matter? I'm thinking about my girlfriend from high school, and I'm like, look, high school was what, 6 years ago? And he's like, yeah, but I don't know, I just haven't gotten over her. And he goes, I've tried to be with so many women, but I can't think. And I'm like, are you gay? And he's like, no, I don't think so. I like women. It's okay. And I'm like, this is just not gonna work. I'm sorry, this is not gonna work. He's like, I want to go. He's like, I want to go home. He's like, I want to go home. And I'm like, it's okay, we can get you a taxi. I'm not going to hold you hostage here, it's fine. My whole Bollywood fantasy is unraveling now. I'm like, this is not the ending you see in the movies. This is not working out. So we call him everything that goes in reverse. We get his clothes, we get him together, put him in a taxi. It's like ice and snow, like it's outside today. Put him in a taxi, he goes back. And then a couple of months later, like last summer, happy ending to the story, I'm biking in West Philly. I run into him. He's so happy. He has a girlfriend now. He was going to spend the summer with her. She's Chinese. They were going to go to China. And he's like telling me basically he's lots of sex with her. It's great. And he's so happy. So I felt like, you know what, that was happy ending to what could have been. So sometimes deception can work to your advantage.